My ex-husband hated me with a passion, all for the woman he called his soulmate. I made the most clear-headed decision to take the settlement and disappear completely, leaving everything behind, including our child. 6 years later, a boy who looked exactly like him, adorable as a little marshmallow, knocked on my door. He had a bright yellow backpack on, his small face set in a tight, serious expression far beyond his years. "Ethan doesn't want me anymore," he said, each word distinct, his lower lip trembling slightly, yet his voice strained to sound firm. "I'm moving in with you." I froze in place, even my breath catching. Before I could speak, he tilted his head up and, like a tiny judge, precisely recited, "According to the law, parents have an unshakable duty to support their minor children." I stepped aside, opening the door completely. "Come in." The warm light from the entryway fell on his face. His eyes brightened for a fleeting moment, then he let out an arrogant little huff and marched inside with small steps. This boy, I knew from the few photos I had that his name was Lucas. He looked around my apartment as soon as the door closed. Sensing me watching him, he clutched his backpack straps tightly. "My name is Lucas," he declared, puffing out his small chest. His tone hinted at both a challenge and a desire for approval. There was no need for a reminder. Those features, those eyes, he was Ethan in miniature. Seeing I didn't immediately follow his lead, he deflated slightly, turning his head and pouting. I took his backpack and hung it up, then led him to the bathroom. "Wash your hands. Dinner will be ready soon." He nodded obediently. By the time I had set the table, he had already climbed onto a dining chair, his small body sinking into it. "Lucas, why exactly are you here?" I asked. He poked at a piece of broccoli with his fork. His head hung very low, his voice muffled in his throat, holding back tears. "We had a fight. He broke things, told me to get out, and said I was never allowed back at the estate, so he had run away from home." I still remembered how years ago, the Coleman family had used every tactic, threatening legal action and nearly sending me to jail, just to get rid of me completely and permanently. He was their little prince. I guessed Ethan was probably turning the entire city upside down looking for him right now. I watched him eat, my throat tightening. I hadn't prepared anything special, just simple home-cooked food. Lucas was very picky, meticulously picking out all the onions and carrots, leaving only the green vegetables. He stared at the greens as if they were an impossible problem, quickly glanced at me, then, as if making up his mind, closed his eyes and swallowed a bite. The arrogant little prince who had walked in 10 minutes ago was gone, replaced by a child desperately trying to be well-behaved. It made my heart ache. It was clear he hadn't been mistreated at the Coleman estate, but he must have been disciplined extremely strictly. I was clearing the dishes, expecting an urgent knock on the door at any moment, but 9:30 passed and the hallway remained quiet. A 6-year-old couldn't fight off sleep. Lucas's eyelids started to droop. He took a set of dinosaur pajamas from his bag and surveyed my small apartment. He wrinkled his nose. "Your place is so small. Why is there only one bed? Are we going to sleep together?" A hint of apprehension in his voice. I glanced at the time, silently cursing Ethan, then sighed and nodded. "Yes, just for tonight." I expected him to throw a tantrum. Compared to the Coleman estate, this place was tiny. But Lucas merely bit his lip, a flash of relief quickly crossing his face. He washed his face, changed into his pajamas, and burrowed into bed. Just like at dinner, he tried hard to be a considerate guest. He wiggled around under the covers, wrapping himself into a small cocoon, with only his big eyes peeking out. Then he reached under the pillow, pulling out a children's book he had apparently hidden there earlier. "Aren't you going to read me a story?" The anticipation in his eyes was blindingly bright. After Lucas fell asleep, I pulled up the number that had been in my blacklist for 6 years. My thumb hovered over the unblock option, trembling. I couldn't do it. Ethan and I were ancient history. Back then, my family's business went under, and the Colemans immediately deemed me a liability, arranging for him to be with Hannah, the girl everyone said was his true destiny. Ethan had resisted. He gave up his inheritance and was left bedridden for weeks by his grandfather.